What's up everyone, I am back with another video. This is a review of the Aventon Aventure 2. This is a step-through fat tire bike. So we're just gonna kind of go over the specs and then I'm gonna take it out, run a couple deliveries with it, and we'll see how it performs. Overall look at the bike, very sleek. I went with the blue color on this one. It has a really nice step-through frame, good blue color. Looks very cool. In terms of the handlebars, you've got your LCD display in the middle here that tells you information, battery power, your odometer, and your pedal assist, as well as controlling a light. You've also got good solid default stock grips, 8 speeds on it, hydraulic disc brakes, and a throttle. And then you've got the control pad right over here that gives you, turns on and off the bike, controls the level of pedal assist you have, and turn signals. The turn signal is a nice little feature of these the newer Aventon bikes I've noticed. It's been nice that they've put these turn signals because it's good to be able to signal what you're doing. You know, I would still use my hand signals and everything, but it's nice to have that there. Taking a look at the tires, these are 26x4 fat tires. Really good beefy tires. As I already mentioned, it uses hydraulic disc brakes. Over on this back wheel is the motor, so it has a rear hub motor that can get you a max speed of about 20 miles an hour, and it has pretty good torque, easy to get up hills, no problem with it. The pedals, this is important, it uses a torque sensor rather than a cadence sensor. So torque sensor is going to be a little different because it will give you motor power based on the pressure you put versus a cadence sensor, which is just going by pedal rotations. So torque sensor will give you a more natural pedaling feel with the bike, which a lot of people prefer when it comes to riding an e-bike, because then it feels more like a real bike. But there's pros and cons to each one. The battery on the Aventon Aventure goes on the side here. So key here just takes it right out. And then kind of an interesting thing, you have to turn it on. If it's not on, you kind of hit this button here and then you can turn the bike on. So when I first got the bike, I didn't realize that. I couldn't turn it on. I realized, oh right, you have to turn this battery on. It's got a port here so you could charge it while it's attached to the bike if you want, or more likely what you would do is you just take the battery out and you take it inside with you. The stock seat is just a Aventon branded seat. I like the seat actually. It's pretty wide, pretty comfortable. Comes with this rear rack. Very nice rear rack. It can be adjusted to go forward and backward as well. And it has a max weight limit of 55 pounds. Good for holding things. You can put panniers on it. It's got these little side parts too. So good solid rear rack. Always nice to have cargo space on a bike. Especially on a fat tire bike, because then it turns the bike into a commuter bike as well. You'll notice it has front fenders as well as rear fenders on the bike. They're made of kind of like aluminum or something metal-y, so they should last well. It has front suspension, so helps to smooth out the ride a bit as you're going. So when you combine the front suspension with the fat tires, it makes for a very smooth, nice ride. Front headlight, which is connected to the battery, so you'll always have lights. You have to turn them on though. It doesn't turn on automatically, and you turn it on just by hitting the plus button until it turns on. As well as front lights, it also has rear lights, and I might have showed you earlier, it has turn signals, so you can signal whether you're turning right or left, so that's nice to have as well. Only downside with the lights kind of like integrated into the back like this, rather than like hanging off like the fender or something, is that if you have panniers and stuff on it, you're gonna block your view of the lights. So just something to notice. That's the overview of the Aventon Aventure 2. So we're gonna take it out on some deliveries now, and I'll talk about the bike more as I'm doing deliveries. We've got some Uber Eats and DoorDash deliveries to do. So we'll see how this bike performs and talk a little bit more about the bike as we're going around. Okay, we are taking out the Aventon Aventure 2. We got a DoorDash delivery from Brugger's Bagels just up the street here, so we're going to grab that one right now. So ride quality on this, on the Aventure 2 is excellent. Really good ride quality. It's got the nice suspension right here you can see, and then the 26x4 fat tires give it a good smooth ride. And you got the torque sensor motor, so that gives it a nice natural feel. So I'll go into a little more detail about how the torque sensor works, but basically you got two choices of sensors, the torque sensor or the cadence sensor, and there's pros and cons of each one. Okay, I just grabbed 2 Uber Eats orders also. Not paying too much, only $6 for the 2 orders, but they're not far away, so I'm gonna grab them. All right, Brugger's Bagels right over here on the right. Quick, easy to get to. Step-through frame makes it easy to hop on and off too, which is an underrated aspect of doing deliveries, to be able to get on and off a bike quickly. This one has a coffee. Carrying coffees on a bike is horrible. So yikes, but we'll make it work. Hey, for Seo Kyung, probably this one right here. Wonderful, thank you so much. Got this one. Luckily they put the little cover thing over the coffee, so that'll at least help me from spilling it. And then we'll just have to hold it carefully to make sure we don't drop it. If you ask any bike person, you'll know delivering coffee is always the worst thing, because it's really hard to deliver it without spilling everywhere. So the good thing is I can ride no-handed, so I can at least hold the coffee with 2 hands. So yeah, looking at the handlebars here while we're here, we can talk about these. It's got a nice LCD display. The Aventon display is always nice. It's in color, and it shows your speed, your battery power, your level of pedal assist you're at, your odometer, and your time and all that, total riding time. So very good LCD display. It gives you a lot of information and really looks nice. And because it's like in color, you can see it even when it's sunny. It's very good. The stock handlebars are good. Get a nice little grip on it. It's got the control pad over here on the left here, and then the throttle as well on the left. Control pad, you can control the level of pedal assist, and you can have the little blinkers for turning left and right. And then you got the brakes and front headlight. One thing about the Aventon Aventure here, it does not come with a bell. So, not a big deal to add a bell yourself, but it would have been nice if it came with the stock bell, because I can't, you can see right there, I just have to just basically yell at people to warn them if I'm passing them or if I'm going next to them. Okay, so I believe the place is gonna be over here. So far pretty good. I actually did without just a little bit of coffee spill, but not too much. So I'm actually kind of happy with my skills here delivering this coffee. And you know what? It does help. This kind of shows the smoothness of the ride, because even on uneven terrain, you've got some good suspension and big wheels to smooth out the bumps. So, kind of shows how this bike works for that. Okay, we got that delivery dropped off. So now we've got 2 Uber Eats deliveries. It's a double order. Okay, and then meanwhile, let's talk a little bit about the torque sensor. So the way this Aventon works, and they've been doing this a lot now with their newer models, is they use a torque sensor instead of a cadence sensor. So a cadence sensor for most entry-level e-bikes it's going to be a cadence sensor. And that basically just means that whenever you pedal, it just kind of sends that power automatically to the motor. Doesn't take into account how hard you're pedaling or any of that. It just will just power the motor every time the pedals rotate. And so it's not really, you're not really using your own power, and it feels a little less natural, but it in my opinion, easier to ride on a cadence sensor. In contrast, a torque sensor, like the one on this Aventon Aventure 2, it's based on the pressure you put in. And so if you pedal harder, the motor works harder. And so it kind of amplifies the power you're putting into it. So it gives it a more natural feel when you're riding. So if you're someone who likes riding bikes and wants to ride the bike like a normal bike, a torque sensor is the better option. If you're just trying to get places without really using any energy at all, I mean, use a bike with a throttle or cadence sensor would be pretty good. And so, anyway, so some people like this, I know I like torque sensors. I think they're good. And most of the high-end bikes will use torque sensors because it's generally considered the better pedal assist sensor. But I know that like my wife prefers the cadence sensor. My buddy, who also uses e-bikes a lot, he prefers the cadence sensor. And so you'll want to, if you're in the market for a bike like this, I recommend trying out both types so you can understand the differences and how it feels, because there is a feel difference to it. So this bike really feels very much like a natural bike that I'm using, and like my pedaling feels natural. So right here I'm pedaling and I'm going to 20 miles an hour, and it's like I'm pedaling it because it's just basically amplifying my power to get me there. So one quick update on this bike is using the Aventon app, you can unlock it so it goes up to 28 miles an hour. So that really changes up the bike power and everything because you can fly on it now. Default state, this bike maxed out at 20, but when you put it into class 3, it can go up to 28 miles per hour, which gives it a ton of power. And it's great for especially when you're riding with traffic because you can pedal it. The throttle will still max out at 20, but you can get 28 miles per hour pedaling. So, I'll just get us up to 28 right now real quick just to show you. You can see right here on this street here, I get 25 right now. If I'm really pedaling, you could see 26, 28, 28.6 miles. So really good speed on this bike. Faster than the cars on the street. Just a quick update jumping in on a new feature of this bike that I didn't know when I first made that video. Now we'll jump back to the review. So having a throttle, the throttle's good. It gives a good start, to it. So good for when you're in a standing position and you want to just get yourself moving. I do like this throttle isn't like super aggressive. So it's not like I'm like flying back on my seat. I have other e-bikes where it's like when you hit the throttle, it just goes flying. This one actually gives a very kind of gentle startup on it when you throttle it. So that's actually pretty nice. Can't see the bike from out there, so I'm gonna I gotta be real quick with this. Perfect. Okay, we just got that order picked up. It was on time and ready for me, so that's good. Next pickup is Moo Moo Tea, which is right over across the street here. I'll pick up for Jimmy.
It'll be like another 2 minutes.
Okay. Okay, so they just said a couple minutes for the bubble tea refinish. So in the meantime, we'll look more at this bike here. Definitely a very sleek looking bike. I really like it. I went with this blue color here, which I really like a lot. It also comes in black, so you can choose whichever one. And you can see these tires are just real nice, beefy, fat tires. It's got a rear rack here, so if you're doing deliveries like this, it would be nice to, you can put a little basket on the back and you can carry things on it. And then the battery, I like how it just slides in through the side here, so easy to take out, easy to remove. Oh, wonderful. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
So, riding this bike is pretty good. It's very steady. Not getting no wheel wobble at all, which is good. Because because sometimes with these type of bikes you can get a little wheel wobble when you're riding no-handed, but this one is pretty steady. Okay. Hey, yes, okay. Okay, we just delivered that order, and then we just got a sweet green order on DoorDash right over here, so very convenient. We'll go grab that order. Yes, thank you. Perfect. Order. We didn't have to wait too long for the order. Oh, there's another guy in the Aventon. Non-step-through version. Back to the Adventure 2. You know, in terms of who this bike is well suited for, I think there's a couple people who would do well with this bike. Commuters, I think, could do great with it. Just like people who are looking for fun. And then delivery people could also do well with it. Because, you know, this bike works pretty well as kind of an overall utility bike. If you put the front rack, which I haven't gotten the front rack yet, or I mean, the front rack, I have the front rack, I just haven't installed it yet. But if you have a front rack plus the rear rack, it kind of makes this into a nice little utility bike. So you can hold, like, you know, a decent amount of cargo and all that stuff. But yeah, for commuters, this would be a good commuter bike because it's got good range, and with the fat tires and the suspension, it gives a smooth ride and pretty steady as well. And then the step-through frame makes it easy to get on and off, so if you're dressed up nicely or something, you can easily use it as a commuting bike. For people who just like to have fun on a bike like this is also clearly a fun bike because of the fat tires and all that. And then as a delivery bike, again, it works out really well for kind of the same reason as a commuter bike. It's a big bike, it's got big wheels, it makes for a smooth ride, and especially once you add some cargo capacity to it, you're in pretty good shape here. Somebody at the door. It's this person. This person looks like they might be waiting for an order. Hey, are you waiting for? Are you Bailey?
Yeah.
Oh, perfect. All right. Yeah, you looked like you were waiting. You looked like you were waiting for an order. So, all right. Have a good one. Now we're gonna grab these 2 Uber Eats orders. Okay. So first stop on this double Uber Eats order, going to Nautical Bowls, right over here. Hello, picking up for Lynn. Order verified, okay?
Thank you.
Perfect, thank you. Okay, next stop, Mango, right over there. There we go. All right, thank you so much.
Thank you.
All right. Okay, we're going back to the same apartment we already went to before. So yeah, you can see if you pedal harder, you get a lot more boost. That's how the pedal assist works. Braking power, very good on this bike. I mean, obviously these are fresh brakes and everything, but you know, it uses 2 hydraulic disc brakes, so very good stopping power. So I'm very happy with the quality of the brakes. And overall, the quality of this bike is just very good, I think. You know, it's not a cheap bike. You know, it's still gonna be, I think it's retail somewhere in the 1800 range. It's an entry-level bike, but I think the parts they put on it for an entry-level bike are actually punch way above what you'd expect for a bike like this. Because, you know, you get the hydraulic disc brakes, the torque sensor, all that stuff. But, you know, when it comes to the torque sensor, that's something that I highly recommend testing it out to make sure that's the type of bike you want, because there is a big difference between a torque sensor and a cadence sensor in my experience. And what works for one person might not work for the other person. And, you know, it's got there's 2 fenders on this bike, front and rear, so it's a little wet today, but the fenders protect me. All right, we are here. Perfect, it
Awesome,
worked.
thank you.
All right, yep, have a good one. Yep, no problem. We continue on. We just got one more order we're gonna do. This sweet green right here before we call it a day with these deliveries.
There you go.
Right, thank you. But yeah, so overall, that's a look at the Aventon Aventure 2 fat tire. I've got the step-through version of this fat tire e-bike. Overall, it's a really good bike. I really enjoy it. I think it's a great bike for anyone in the market for a fat tire e-bike. And I can definitely recommend it based on my usage of it. And seeing it for deliveries, you can see just how well you can use it for that. So, I'm gonna drop this order off. But in the meantime, thanks for watching this video. I hope you enjoyed it and gave you some good information about this bike and how it handles. And until next time, I'll see you guys all in the next video.